Hello everyone. In this video I want to look at the question of find the vertices, foci, and the equations of the asymptotes for the hyperbola x squared over 36 minus y squared over 9 equals 1. So for a question like this, we need to identify the vertices, so we need to look at our a, b, and c for the equation. Now if you recall, this corresponds to the general equation in blue, x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. For a problem like this, because the x squared is first, that means that a is, of course, a squared, I should say, is directly underneath the x squared term. Remember, with hyperbolas, the a and b keep their positions. It's the x and y that can change. So this means that a squared is 36 and b squared is 9, which then we can say that a is 6 and b is 3. Using our other equation of a squared plus b squared is c squared, which for hyperbolas, remember, governs how a, b, and c are related. We substitute and get 36 plus 9 gives me 45. Is c squared, so that means c is the square root of 45, and we want to always reduce. So 45 will break into the square root of 9 and the square root of 5. So that means c is equal to 3 square root of 5. So now I have a value for a, b, and c, which means I can find my vertices, my foci, and the equation for my asymptotes. Using the general form, since we have x squared and y squared, there's not a x minus anything or y minus anything in a quantity, we can assume that the center of this hyperbola is at 0, 0. So the simple form for our vertices is plus or minus a, comma 0. Since we determined a, again, was 6, we can say that our vertices are at the points 6, 0 and negative 6, 0. Likewise, with c defined as 3 square root of 5, I can say my foci are at the point 3 square root of 5, 0 and negative 3 square root of 5, 0. So now I have my vertices, my foci. Now for my asymptotes. Recall the central box of a hyperbola, as it's created, is what we use to help guide the hyperbola itself, and the asymptotes go through the center of the box. So since they're in the form of lines, they take this general shape. So it's a matter of just putting the proper numbers in and simplifying if necessary. So again, with b defined as 3, a is 6, we have the two possible equations of y equals 3 over 6x and negative 3 over 6x, which means if we simplify, there'll be 1/2 x and y equals negative 1/2 x. So now we've defined the vertices, foci, and the equations for the asymptotes, which would help us to graph this hyperbola.